Hey guys, what it do? It's your boy Supreme Uchiha the God, man. Today I want to talk about overrated. The word overrated and how every anime fan, every TV show fan, every soccer fan, everybody is overrated. NBA player, oh, he's overrated. Soccer player, he's overrated. But mainly I'm going to talk about in context of movies and TV shows. Just because you do not like something does not mean that that thing is overrated. People have to understand what objectively good is versus what objectively not good is. You know what I'm saying? I did not like the Joker movie. In fact, I didn't enjoy it at all. I was bored off my tits, bro. I was like, bruh, I get what's happening. I get that it's done really well. I don't enjoy it. This is why movies that win Oscars often are seem boring or seem dead. They're objectively very good. They're just not entertaining, right? And it depends on what you like. That will dictate whether you think something is God tier or not. However, objectively, a lot of people just don't understand what that means or how to objectively view something, right? Let's say I prefer Naruto to Hunter. Objectively, Hunter might have done more, right? I definitely like Naruto is in my top 3 animes of all time type shit. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Even above Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, objectively, in my opinion, and objectively is better. I still prefer Naruto. But I can still admit that Full Metal Alchemist has less flaws. It does this better. It does that better. It's tighter story. Boom, 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 boom. This is what that means. So now, especially on TikTok, a lot of people talking about Attack on Titan is overrated. It's overrated. No, it's not. Attack on Titan is not overrated. You just don't like it, and that's fine. You don't have to like it. You don't have to enjoy it at all. It's not for everybody. Not everything is for everybody, right? It's like, let's say, Spain when they won the World Cup. They had to be objectively good. Just because you didn't like that team doesn't mean that they're a bad team. Just because you didn't like them doesn't mean that they're not the best team in the world. That's just not how that shit works. You know what I'm saying? Just because you don't enjoy their style of football doesn't mean they don't play the right football, because that bitch won them the game. People got to start understanding things at a deeper level. People are just so like, oh, but I only like this type of thing, so therefore anything else is bad. This is the same shit when it comes to hip-hop music. Early in the days, everybody was like, hip-hop is blah blah blah, rap is blah blah blah, no 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 no, because they didn't listen to it or they didn't like it, but it doesn't mean that it's objectively not good, right? There's always going to be good shit and there's always going to be bad shit. Attack on Titan is not perfect. No show ever made is perfect or will ever be perfect. This is just a fact. But to act like one is overrated for being rated in an S tier, you know, and you have to understand that there's wiggle room in an S tier. If you get an A, right, you might be 2 points higher than somebody that also got an A. You might be 2 points lower than somebody that also got an A. You get me? But it's still an A. There's wiggle room in that A, but it's still an A. You get me? And this is where people gotta understand how these things work when they're talking about overrated. What the fuck does overrated mean? Like, for example, I'll give you a good example of overrated. Unordinary is objectively not great. I love Unordinary. I enjoy Unordinary. Objectively, it's just not good. It's not. That's an overstatement. I think that's unfair. It's good, objectively, but it's not great. You know what I'm saying? Objectively. Does that make sense? And I think that's where, like, and I enjoy it more than objectively better shit. Right? I enjoy Unordinary more than I enjoy Solo Leveling, for example. But you can easily argue that Solo Leveling is better, right? Because I know what I prefer in stories, which is human interaction and human connections and all of that shit. While Solo Leveling feels like, what's his name? Christopher Nolan, right? Christopher Nolan movies. I actually love Christopher Nolan movies personally. But it's, a lot of people don't, because they feel like the characters aren't really fleshed out, right? Like, if you watched Tenet, I love Tenet, one of my favorite movies of all time. Absolutely love it. Watched it like 3 times. Loved it. Yeah, and I don't really rewatch movies, but I watched that bitch a bunch of times. Loved it. I can completely understand all the criticism. I completely understand, but I still think it's an objectively very good movie. Some people will not, because, the science doesn't fully work out or blah, 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 blah. I think that's nitpicking, but to some, that's like the end all be all. And that's completely fair, but I still objectively still a good movie, but it's not an S tier movie because of some of the criticisms, right? It's a good movie, but it's not an amazing movie, because to me it's amazing. But objectively, if I really look at it, thinking about character, thinking about all of that stuff, it kind of falls short from that high tier, right? But that, and I prefer it to movies that are definitely objectively better. I prefer it to a lot of movies that are better. Like Joker's is an objectively great movie. Did not enjoy it. Will never watch it again. Don't care about it. Don't want to watch it again. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's where people just don't understand that you can objectively see that something is good and still subjectively not like it. But a lot of people, when they say overrated, they mean subjectively to them it's overrated rather than objectively it's overrated. You know what I'm saying? There's not a lot of things are like, I think the big three you can argue are objectively overrated, right? They all have massive flaws that every fan ignores because fight scenes, right? Because a lot of the fan base for the big three are boys that love action, love a great, like people were complaining about animation in Attack on Titan, and while I was so focused on the story, I didn't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's like how I view things versus how they view things. Now, because it's animation, and that's the art form, right? The same way you have to criticize the cinematography of a movie, it is 100% fair to criticize the animation quality of an animation, right? But I think let's say if you look at the webtoon One Punch Man, I think it's an S tier webtoon, and I mean the original Murata one. No, sorry, not Murata, the original one. I think it's objectively S tier or A plus tier for its genre, right? This is important for its genre. I don't know if it's 100% S tier outside of its genre, but it's definitely A tier at least. But I think that's an A plus tier webtoon, despite the art being horrendous, right? Absolutely horrendous. I think it's objectively way better than Solo Leveling, but Solo Leveling's art is a gazillion times better. I'm not saying Murata's one now. Before people say, "Hey, Murata can out of," obviously that's Murata, boy. Come on, I'm not talking about Murata now. This is kind of the nerdies know what I'm talking about. Murata draws the One Punch manga, one made and draws the original One Punch webtoon or webcomic, right? So this is one thing. Like, just because animation is bad does not necessarily degrade the quality of the story to a lower tier. So I think this is something that people just gotta think about when they're talking about when something is overrated versus when they just don't like something. It's okay to not like something or to not think something is great. I don't love Monster. I wasn't that surprised by a lot of the things. Still objectively great. It is what it's objectively great. They did a lot of things correctly. They did a lot of setups right. They did a lot, you know what I'm saying? And that's just what people gotta understand. Like people are praising, and I mean praising Zack Snyder's cut of the Justice League. It's not that good. I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed it. The 4 hours bonanza. I enjoyed it. It is not that great of a movie. It's just not. Objectively. Subjectively, to me, it was decent. But people are overrating and overhyping that shit. Why? Because they're used to getting so much trash and they're so sick of Marvel that, they're like, it's better than Infinity War. No. Objectively, it's just not. I'm sorry, it's not. Right? Yeah. Spider-Man is probably... My favorite Marvel movies are probably Infinity War, Civil War, and Spider-Man, right? The Homecoming. You can argue that other movies, I think minus Infinity War, I think Infinity War is objectively the best Marvel movie, outside of in the MCU, because Logan I think is better. But I think you can argue that those movies better than the other ones I named, right? But those are my favorites regardless. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't mean if somebody gives me a sound argument of why objectively, let's say, Winter Soldier is better than Civil War, that I won't be like, that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? I'll just be like, nah. If you make good points, I'll say good points to those good points. If you make bad points, I'm gonna say I disagree with this because, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I just feel like discourse in general and is becoming super toxic. Like people just either want to hate on something or want to just, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's just weird, bro. It's weird. It's just weird. I feel like people just need to communicate better or just talk shit out. Instead of just like, no, DBZ is better than Attack on Titan. No, it's not. No, it's not. I grew up on DBZ too. It's not. I grew up on Naruto too. It's not, bro. I didn't even like Attack on Titan when it first came out, bro. I didn't really love it, bro. I didn't really, you know what I'm saying? Honestly, I didn't really enjoy it. Like, come on, bro. Like, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Y'all just gotta stop being honest, or just learn what objectivity means. And this is why I don't know, maybe I'm like this because I studied literature and I did English in university and stuff like that. So I kind of understand why, certain things are tutored so highly despite me not enjoying them. Like, I loved Wuthering Heights. I super enjoyed the first 350 pages of Wuthering Heights. The last 150 I did not really enjoy. But the first 350 pages alone warrants its high praise. It's phenomenal. The character of Heathcliff and how he's handled throughout the story, the narrative, and how you can view him both as the villain, the antagonist, and both as the protagonist and the victim. That's phenomenal writing, right? Somebody that doesn't do literature is probably not going to sit down and read 500 pages of a book like that. I prefer other books. I prefer like Prisoner X. Prisoner X is nowhere near, or Criminal X. Sorry, nowhere near the level of quality writing that Emily Bronte's Wuthering Heights is. Nowhere near it. No, not even in the same stratosphere. Not even the same universe. The quality difference is staggering. But I still prefer the low quality one because I just enjoy the story more. It connects with me personally more. It's the same thing with music, right? You can like objectively not great music, right? Lil Yachty is objectively not a great artist, right? In terms of like his execution, his flows and all that, it's not amazing. But you can still love him because of how he makes you feel. But then you can't argue to me that Lil Yachty is better than Drake because you prefer Lil Yachty. This is the type of arguments motherfuckers be making when they say dumb shit like this. I won't say dumb shit. I feel like now I'm belittling motherfuckers, but at the same time, it's kind of dumb. You know what I'm saying? Like, you cannot argue that Lil Yachty is as good of an artist as Drake. You just shouldn't be able to argue that. You can prefer Lil Yachty. You can prefer, and this is no diss on Lil Yachty. He makes some great songs. I love some of his songs, but come on. Objectivity is key. It's fundamental, and I think a lot of people are losing the meaning of that, or just aren't going to school, or just don't know what the fuck they doing or what they talking about half the time on the internet. Everybody's just so quick to rage and pick up pitchforks without fully comprehending what the fuck shit means or what the fuck words mean. Like, well, what are you doing? What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? Y'all toxic fans just do not understand what the fuck words mean, bro. You know what I'm saying? Even if I'm attacking your favorite, bro, people attack my favorite shit all the time, bro. You know what I'm saying? People attack my favorite soccer team all the time. People mock me, boo boo. You guys can't win a Champions League. It is what it is, bro. Gotta be able to take it, bro. Cause your favorite shit will get scrutinized. It will get attacked. You know, I've seen very good anti-Attack on Titan, like not videos, but like people that said like bits of it that's like, that's fair. It could do that better. You know what I'm saying? I didn't notice it. I don't really care for it personally. It doesn't make me enjoy it any less. But objectively, it would make the story better, right? And these are the things that, like, some say it does too much. I won't say dialogue, but there's too much exposition. Sometimes there is, but I enjoy the exposition. It feels natural. It's done really well, but this doesn't mean there can't be too much of it, right? Doesn't mean that sometimes it's like show don't tell, right? But the problem with show don't tell is sometimes people just don't realize. Like, unless a motherfucker, like, literally, some people still argue that, I don't know, that, let me see, this is something that's, like, super common. Some people still argue that, like, Itachi can solo the Akatsuki or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it was never said he can't. Or some people argue that Jiraiya can beat Itachi because it was said. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't objectively look at shit a lot of times, bro. They just really don't. A lot of things are debatable, which is fair enough. I think when something is debatable and you can contest it, that's great. I think a story, if you just say that this is the flaw and that's it, there's no counter argument, nothing, probably didn't do a great enough job at that thing, right? But when, like, War Arc Naruto is awful. Like, I always bring it up, but people just don't understand how bad that arc is. Like, you can ignore all the fillers in Naruto and there's still a lot of bad shit. There's still a lot of retconning. The fact if you have to retcon a story, you're not doing the greatest job, bro. You know what I'm saying? You can throw curveballs, but if you're retconning a bunch of shit, you ain't planning your shit well enough. But people will overlook that and then say the animation of Attack on Titan is why it will never be DBZ. The fight scenes in Attack on Titan is why it will never be DBZ. The animation and the art style of Code Geass means it will never be what's One Piece. What? What? That's not how this works. That's just not how, you know? I'm baffled sometimes. I'm baffled sometimes when I go on the internet and TikTok and see these takes. I'm like, y'all just want to be different for just the sake of being different. Y'all just want to go against the grain. You know what I'm saying? Y'all really just want to go against the grain. I would tell you straight up, Naruto is overrated. My favorite anime of all time. And it's not overrated because of like its own fault. It's more the fan base now is like overrating it and trying to put it on this level that it just never was. It was always a great show, super enjoyable. But to be honest, I don't really want to say One Piece too much because I've only watched 130 episodes. And I think the pacing in One Piece is already a massive issue. Massive issue. The fact that it's this many episodes and the characters are almost the exact same as I remember them in 130 episodes. Like, almost. I think it's just the pacing issue in that is just, the pacing is horrible. I think the characters are great. I didn't care too much for the fight scenes. They didn't like blow me away in the first 130 episodes. But I like, the world building is great. The pacing is awful. That's my take on the first 130 episodes, right? So it's hard for me to like give you a proper synopsis of that just because look, I ain't watch the rest of it. I might eventually, just not now. You know what I mean? Generator X, really enjoyed it, love it. Objectively, it's very, very good. But a lot of people wouldn't even have heard of it or rate it, right? Popularity does not always equal quality. This is what a lot of people don't understand. Just because something is the most popular doesn't mean it's the best, right? Invincible is phenomenal. Not a lot of people ever heard of it until the animation came out recently, So relax. If somebody calls something you love overrated, think about it. Don't just attack. Think about it. How many major flaws can you name on that bitch? And the crazy thing is, the same fan bases will be attacking and rinsing the show, man. I hated this act because I hated this character growth because Sakura's writing in Naruto alone is ridiculously bad. Hinata's writing is awful. All of the female characters in Naruto's writing is terrible. That's already a massive enough criticism that it really, like, how, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of wild, bro. It's kind of wild. But people would defend shit to the death just because of love. And it's, I don't know. I feel like I'm waffling at this stage, bro. I think just people just need to learn what the fuck overrated means and when to use it correctly. Just because you don't like something does not mean it's overrated. Just because you love something does not mean it's S tier. That's just the reality of it. Like I'm telling y'all, I prefer, let's say, let me name a movie. I prefer Black Panther, and I prefer even Ant-Man. The Ant-Man movie. I prefer all the Ant-Man movies over the Joker movie. Any day, any week, anytime. If somebody told me choose which one to watch, I will 10,000 bazillion% all the time watch Ant-Man. I don't love the Chris, and I love Christopher Nolan. I don't love the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy at all. I think it's objectively still better than most of the movies the Marvel movies I love. Objectively still better than a lot of them, but I still prefer them. I'm not even, anybody knows me, I be attacking at DC all the time. I be killing the Bat Family. And the Bat Family is my favorite comic book family ever. My favorite character ever is from the Bat Family, bro. Dick Grayson. You know what I'm saying? Alongside Alex Wilder, who's not Bat Family, he's Marvel. But, that's one of my favorite characters ever. Team Drake, one of my favorite characters ever. Batgirl, one of my favorite characters ever. I actually think she had the best comic book run for a few years. And it was underrated as fuck. Before she went to Bronzeside, she was phenomenal. Her shit was amazing. I was blown away. Right? I still haven't really enjoyed. I've never enjoyed a Batman movie. Like a human Batman movie. I enjoyed the Lego Batman. Actually, I couldn't really enjoy the Lego Batman because they did the Barbara thing, and whenever they do Barbara with Batman, I can't deal. You know what I'm saying? But I'm yet to enjoy a live action Batman anything that I'm like, yo, ever. I enjoy Spider-Man live action. I've enjoyed most of the Spider-Man live actions. Even the ones that I don't necessarily like, I enjoy. You know what I'm saying? I guess that's the best way I can talk about it. I don't know. I hope it made sense. I hope you guys understand what the fuck I'm talking about. The difference between overrated and underrated, etc. Again, I prefer an ordinary to a lot of things better than it. You know, including Solo Leveling and whatever else you want to name. But, you know, doesn't mean it's an S tier just because I like it. You know? Yeah. Alright, I'm out. It's been the boys from Music. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe. I got friends now. You ain't no wrong song. Love me like a rock star in your.
Love me like a rock star in your dreams. Drive me like a sports car.